Hey guys, Nick Espinoza, your chief security fanatic here, and today I want to talk about Zoom because Zoom is proving that security is only one aspect of the issues we have with video conferencing apps. Now, here's what's going on, and this is coming from Yahoo News by way of AFP. Activists in the United States and Hong Kong are complaining that they have been kicked out of their Zoom accounts and have had meetings disrupted after hosting online anniversary events marking basically the Beijing's put down of a pro-democracy uprising in Tiananmen Square on June 4th of 1989. Now, Zoom has acknowledged that these meetings were in fact disrupted, etc., and here we go. So some examples of this is Cho Feng-Su, a Tiananmen survivor who is now living in the United States. And he said this past Wednesday that his account was suspended after his organization, Humanitarian China, tried to connect to more than 250 people, including users in the mainland, and meaning mainland China, to commemorate the crackdown. Now, on Thursday, that would be last week, Li Chukyang Yan, the organizer of Hong Kong's annual vigil for the victims of Tiananmen Square, said he was also locked out of his account since May 22nd after his group tried to host an online discussion on China's influence around the world. Now, according to Li, he said, and I quote, "The account was suspended before the talk started. I've asked Zoom many times whether this is political censorship, but it has never replied to me." And that is him speaking to the AFP. Now, unlike competitors such as like Facebook and Google and all of that, Zoom is not actually banned in communist China. And so they are actually behind the Great Firewall or so. And so by virtue of that, Zoom has been free to operate in China. Zoom, though, has said that it has to obey the laws in the jurisdiction it operates in. And basically, the Chinese government is very much known for basically not, I don't want to say breaking into infrastructure, but being allowed in by law to eavesdrop on the infrastructure and going-ons of tech companies in China. And to quote Zoom, "We regret that a few meetings with participants both inside and outside of China were negatively impacted and important conversations were disrupted." Now, this is obviously concerning from a free speech standpoint, which is where this article goes, but this really underscores something that Zoom has been claiming the last couple of months, which I've been railing against, and this is what's going on. One, they don't actually have true end-to-end encryption. This is something that they've had to admit. This is something they said they've been working on strengthening. This is also something they said that, well, we're no longer going to route traffic through China and all of that, that your meetings are private. But here they are actually knowing what is going on with these meetings and then disrupting them or suspending accounts. And they monitor meetings regardless of where where the meeting is actually established from. Now, I mentioned this in a video I did earlier about a Rolling Stone article where a spokesperson for Zoom said that they have ways to check in on Zoom meetings to see if any kind of illicit activity is going on. The Rolling Stone article was talking about adult-themed parties that were going on in Zoom, which is against Zoom's company policy, and they were shutting these things down when they would find them, which means that they have the ability to monitor. And so in a situation like this, we're talking about meetings that don't have adult content themes. They were just discussions that the Chinese government doesn't like. And so this proves that Zoom is watching and can monitor all conversations, and why I and many other cybersecurity professionals cannot recommend them for things like sensitive meetings, and why several governments, including the US Senate, Taiwan, Canada, Germany, and on, are still not using them after dropping them when all of these issues came to light. Also, what isn't really being reported nearly enough is that while Zoom claims that their headquarters are in California in the United States, they have around 700 employees in China across several Chinese subsidiaries. These are Chinese nationals. And this is according to researchers that were talking to Business Insider, who published this in the beginning of April of 2020, when a lot of this stuff was coming to light. And that's just really not on the radar. Zoom has done a very good job of focusing on the front end things that they are doing to ensure their security, but they're not really talking about what kind of access they have on the back end. And so my question is, what are those 700 employees and those subsidiaries that are attached to Zoom in mainland China? What's that all about? Why aren't they disclosing that to the public when they are pushing this out everywhere? And obviously, we've seen an explosion in the use of Zoom due to the coronavirus pandemic worldwide. But this is something that's very, very, very unknown. That's the only way I can really think about it off the top of my head. So they can fix their security issues to prevent things like Zoom bombing and hacking that the world sees, but it would also appear that Zoom is hacking their meetings at will, as proof by Rolling Stones, as proof by Chinese nationals, just trying to have a conversation on Tiananmen Square, and them seeing it, understanding it, and shutting it down. So how can Zoom be possibly trusted at this point? And I'd love to hear your thoughts on that, because that is your news of the day. And please like, share, follow me here on Facebook and Twitter at NickAESP. And please feel free to subscribe to me at YouTube as well. And as always, stay safe and stay online. Thanks, guys.